Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a great day. Hope everybody had a great Easter weekend, celebrating time with their families, taking a break from the chaos in the world. But let's get back to PLTR because we have a very, very important support level that could be tested tomorrow, especially that is right at the earnings gap level. We got a lot to talk about. Specifically, why are we seeing a little bit of a pullback right here? Not just in the AI stocks in general, but Palantir specifically, and what could be happening in the future. And also, for those taking the bullish perspective, could this be a buy the dip type of opportunity? We're going to be getting into all the details. So before we get too far, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Now, what we have right here for PLTR, what we've talked about in the past, is a head and shoulders technical pattern that has been formed. Typically, this is bearish in nature. And what we do have with PLTR is really testing this critical reversal point that we've seen before right here, right at about this 2340. Now, we talked about this point before, but what we're seeing in terms of a little bit of selling pressure is the fact that our average volume for 3 months is about 71 million. We're coming in at volume right now at 71 million. And what this really can pinpoint in a type of scenario is if we continue to see a little bit of a pullback, because what we saw in the general market today was stock futures that are actually slipping Monday evening right now. After the S&P 500, they are falling to start the second quarter. Now, let's not get all of our, not trying to bring a bunch of FUD out there, bring a lot of fear, but the potential for, if this testing at this 2340, if this fails, a gap test would likely be in order right here, testing this area. And this gap was established after Q4 earnings were reported. Those are historically great earnings. And we saw PLTR have this jump up from here all the way up to here, which means that PLTR did not have a lot of trading here in terms of this zone. And typically what we've seen here is a lot of volatility that can come if the support level fails. Now, PLTR could establish different reverse levels. We could see a flip in the market. We could see more positivity coming in here. Just right now, the scenario that's being set up is looking at more of a bearish potential. One thing that I do like, though, in terms of the options volume that I am seeing for end of the week expirations, is actually a decent amount of options at the $23 strike call, and even at the 25, you got over 15,000. However, still a decent amount of puts right here. So pretty neck and neck in comparison to the actual calls and the put option volatility that we are seeing. Now, why is Palantir Technologies dipping more than the broader market today? And in terms of percentages, we actually had Palantir just down about 1%. Not too bad. You got the markets down here basically about 0.2%. Only the NASDAQ was slightly in the green. What we have for PLTR, and specifically what we have coming up here in the next month, is going to be the next earnings reports. We're going to be starting to talk about earnings, giving more of a picture about what could possibly be happening with that report. However, right now, the biggest criticism and what we talked about in the last video was that one analyst that actually decreased their price target for PLTR, and just one person out there making a price target call. I mean, think of all the people that make price targets calls all the time. More of a bigger analyst, a Wall Street analyst, this actually dropped the price decently strong. And we're continuing to see this using the valuation as one of the main justification pieces for this bearish kind of pullback. And the valuation is high. We can't disagree with that. That's just fact. Those are numbers that are in front of us. Right now, the present trading with forward price to earnings ratio is 69.99, and compared to its industrial average right here of the forward price to earnings of 27.88. So Palantir is trading at a premium right now. We see this looking at Seeking Alpha, especially right here with the valuation grades. We see D- looking here, all the different types of ways that you can measure valuation, all getting bad grades. But you see here, growth, profitability, momentum, and revisions, all right now getting great A+, A-, doing well. So what this tells me for PLTR is people are paying a premium for the stock. That is true. And that's because Palantir has been smashing earnings within the last 5 quarters. And what we've seen with Palantir, especially right here, is that earnings per share revisions are up 16 times in the last 90 days in terms of the bullish perspective. Now we have earnings. I saw one of you guys commented the earnings is actually going to be coming out here 5.6. Seeking Alpha right now says 5.8. So we'll see when they kind of identify the actual true earnings release. But sitting here, earnings per share at 8 cents, we are continuing to see these revenue estimates that are continuing to be higher. And also we see future guidance that has improved upon the previous earnings reports. So with PLTR right now, Of course, we're seeing a higher valuation. However, we're seeing an AI boom across the whole industry. And specifically, looking at NVIDIA right here, this is the main driver that we're seeing. Look at this chart right here, going from here in basically January from 529 to up here to 974 for this high resistance and for this all-time high area right now sitting at this 903 area that has been starting to consolidate. So in terms of the AI stocks, lots of momentum and energy and buying pressure has came into the stock. Could we see a little bit of a profit taking cascade? This could possibly be the moment, or it could possibly not be not. Basically, the only type of kind of scenario that I want to play out there, like I said, is this technical pattern that is being set up, and for everybody to be fully aware about the potential of this earnings gap test that could happen. However, for people that are looking to get in at a lower price, if people are looking in, they've been sitting on the sidelines, or looking to even dollar cost average. If you bought here in the higher 20s, you're looking to get more of a lower average share price. This could possibly be an opportunity for the bulls out there, because at the end of the day, what the price of Palantir is should really, what you think the price of Palantir is, that should be a big justifier for what you think the true value of the stock should be. And this is where we could see the possible advantages of a pullback, especially because PLTR shares have exploded over 43% in February after we saw those blockbuster earnings, and especially with that big earnings report, that 70% increase in the commercial side of things. We see commercial revenue. We see Palantir that's getting involved with many different private businesses while still establishing large governmental contracts, like the Titan contract. Right here, a pullback could be warranted. And institutional investors right here could see this opportunity, and retail investors ahead of earnings in May, if Wall Street delivers earnings above Wall Street expectations, if we see a little bit of a pullback right here. So that's where we sit with PLTR, at this really interesting place. Lots of volatility could be ahead. However, in my opinion, it's nothing to be scared of. I'm not going to be scared of this at all, because why? I'm looking at PLTR in the long term, trying to give more long-term perspective in updates. This is more of just a short-term scenario, and for people that could benefit from a little bit of a pullback here. You could see some trading, volatility could be picking up, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with the volume. If that's going to catch back up to kind of that 3-month average, or if we're going to see it lacking the volume with a little bit of selling pressure, easily that 2340 could be tested. And if it does fail, we could see that earnings gap being basically tested. However, if we see a reversal right here, this would just further establish that 2340 as a really critical level of support for PLTR that can help accelerate it back into these mid-20s once, if traders realize that, hey, this can be a great point for support. So lots of interesting things that could happen out there this week. We're going to be keeping a close eye. We'll have videos for you every day. What do you think will be happening? I want you guys to take a guess. I want to hear what your opinions are, and what will you be doing if we see PLTR that loses that level of support. Peace out, take care, and I'll catch you guys later.